everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach. Welcome to my very first mixtape, and let me give you a brief little introduction on these mixtape series. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. That was my childhood and my teenage years. So when I listen to music, I listen to music on a Walkman. That Walkman usually had a 90-minute cassette tape in it. That 90-minute cassette tape generally was a mixtape. Sometimes it might have some classic rock albums filling out one whole side on one side, and then a classic rock album filling out one whole side on the other side. 45 minutes per side on a mixtape back in the days, the ones I used to buy. Some people did 60s, I prefer 90s. When I gotta take a bus across the city, I don't necessarily want to repeat the tracks more than twice at the most. Anyways, let me give you a little insight into my very first mixtape, which I am referring to as a pavement stomper. And by that, I mean these are marching tunes. These are tunes that get my blood pumping, get me moving. So when I got to get to the bus in the morning to go to work, I am running in full octane gear, man. I mean, like, you are shifting that baby into full overdrive, and I'm just plowing on through the traffic on my two little feet, wearing my badass Doc Martens, ready to stomp on whoever pisses me off. And this is the music I use to get through the days. Okay, I don't advocate violence, folks. That's just me, being me. Realistically, though, man, these tracks on here are definitely some of the most badass hard rock, heavy metal tracks I could put together for you guys to listen to at this time. So let me get into all these tracks. If you are one of my regular viewers for my album reviews, you know that the lead song on an album has to be choice. It has to be cherry. And a mixtape needs to be no different, which is why on this mixtape, track number 1 is Alice Cooper's cover of the Lou Reed classic, Rock and Roll. Has a great start, man. It just drops you, and I have talked about this song before in my review for Detroit Stories. So, song just drops you right into the middle of the right there, man. It just fires off. You're into it. You are going, and this is some good heavy rock and roll. And I'll be honest, I'm a little bummed out he didn't play this one when I saw him live last. I'd love to see Alice play this one live, man, because this is just this is a great opener, man. Like, really kick-ass opener. Great way to open this mixtape collection. That's the way I wanted to go with it. I really think you need to check out this song if you haven't checked it out yet. You know what I'm saying? Alright, on this mixtape, you are going to actually find quite a few covers, because this next song is a cover as well. This is Ace Frehley, off of his Origins Volume 1, covering White Room, the classic by Cream, man. I love this song. I love the Cream version. I love karaoke. This used to be when my early days. I used to run a karaoke DJ service for a small time. And when I ran that service for a small time, this was my favorite song to open up with, man. I used to love this one just to get into it, get going. Man, that boom, 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 boom. As a drummer, man, it's just killer, man. That intro, everything to it, this is just a brilliant song. Ace Frehley's cover of it is absolutely fantastic. Ace nails Clapton's solo beautifully. The whole song, the whole way around, is just fantastic. And the reason I go with this version instead of the original is the modern levels. All right, so how do we follow up two great heavy songs? We give it something that's got a little bit of tempo build. Something that's got a little anxiety build, a little anticipation build, and then just explode, man. Rammstein's Deutschland of the most recent album. Oh, Zeit. Oh, no, sorry, my apologies. Deutschland is off of Rammstein, not Zeit. That confused me. My apologies. Mix that up. So anyways, the whole point is, it doesn't matter what album it comes with. Deutschland, brilliant. Love this song, man. It has got everything you want in a Rammstein song, on top of being a relatively newer song, since it's from 2019, which is great. Actually, it'll be really interesting if you actually pay attention to a lot of years on here. Most of the songs are from the 2000s or higher up. There are some songs that are never meant to be split up. You have to listen to them back to back. And the next two songs follow that rule. We're going to cut back, and I just mentioned that, I was mainly, most of the songs on here were going to be at least from the 2000s or older. This is going to be one of the oldest ones going back on here because I am talking about Blue Oyster Cult. Flaming Telepaths is the first song. Second song is Astronomy. Flaming Telepaths is just absolutely brilliant. It showcases everything that Blue Oyster Cult fans love about Blue Oyster Cult. I mean, first off, telepaths. Second, they're flaming. Third, great music. Yeah, I mean, this is just one of those songs that I absolutely love. Now, this version, though, I did not take off the original album that it came from. It actually came off of their Best of Blue Oyster Cult, Don't Fear the Reaper, which was released in 1983. Continuing with the last song, since this is literally one song going into the other, Astronomy follows up Flaming Telepaths. It follows it up on the Don't Fear the Reaper Greatest Hits album. It also follows it up on the original Secret Treaties album, which is what I also have. I have the digitally remastered one. The reason why I picked the ones off of the Greatest Hits is, believe it or not, these were not the first songs I was going to put on here from Blue Oyster Cult. I changed my mind at the last second. I just happened to be grabbing songs off the Greatest Hits album because the song I was going to grab was actually from the Greatest Hits album. It wasn't from here. I'll leave that for another time, which is why I'm not bringing it up right now. Astronomy itself, though, is an absolutely brilliant song. I love this song. This song was actually introduced to me through Metallica on the Garage Inc. album. However, the original version is beautiful. I love the piano work in it. I am a sucker for some good piano. But it can't be overdone. Piano's got to be just right. And on this song, it's done just right. Beautiful song. Check it out if you don't know it. We are into My Medicine from the Pretty Reckless. My daughter, totally responsible for me getting into the Pretty Reckless. Absolutely fantastic band. Love them. My only complaint when it comes to the Pretty Reckless is Taylor Momsen tends to sexually exploit herself way more than she has to, especially considering the music is so good she doesn't need to. If she went out there and just dressed standard rock and roll, man, it would still be just as badass without having to go all into the sexploitation of her own self. My Medicine is a prime example of that, man. This song is just so rock and roll and so badass, I mean, especially for being a modern song. That whole going on about somebody mixing your medicine and throwing you out of whack and getting out of kilter, but it's a good solid rock and roll song, man. I mean, this is true blue rock the way it should be done. So once again, you gotta check this one out. We're going back to classic rock now. Ramones, I Want to Be Sedated, my absolute favorite Ramones song after Pet Sematary. I Want to Be Sedated was actually the song that got me into the Ramones. I still love it to this day. It's I Want to Be Sedated, Pet Sematary, Pinhead. There's a couple other really great chops and great songs that I just could not live without from the Ramones. Man, 24 hours ago, I want to be sedated. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Whoa, whoa. I want to be sedated. Just get me to an airport and put me on a plane. Hurry, 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 before I go insane. I can't control my fingers. I can't control my brain. Oh, no, oh, no, oh, no. Bam, 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 bam. I want to be sedated. Bam, 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 bam. I want to be sedated. Back to Ace Frehley for the next song. That's right, we're back to the Origins album. We are now at the song Emerald. This also is a cover. This is a cover from Thin Lizzy. I absolutely adore the Thin Lizzy version of Emerald. When I picked up Thin Lizzy's Greatest Hits, man, and I listened to Emerald for the first time, it just floored me and blew my mind, and it became a song I wanted to cover ever since. I just love everything about this song. The drum work on it, the guitar work on it, the lyrics are fantastic too, man. Down through the glen came the marching band, with the shields and the swords, to fight the fight they knew to be right, to overthrow the overlord. Dun, 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 dun. Just great song, man. Just so triumphant and magnificent. And Ace Frehley's cover is just cherry, man. Now, I call this a mixtape, which means I have to announce that this is the last track on side one. I did actually balance these out properly. So there's about 44 minutes on one. No, wait a start. Yeah, about 45 minutes on one side and then about 45 minutes on the other. Got it as close to that 45-minute marker as I could. And this track, the track that I choose to end side one with, is Billy Talent, not for Canadian content purposes, but because this song is damn badass and awesome. Viking Death March, man. Oh, yeah. I love this on a lyric level. I love this on a music level. I love this on a Canadian level, man. I love Billy Talent talking about going out there and just tearing it all down. Just ending the corporate overlords, man. Just all of it. Channel your inner Viking. Tear it down. The establishment must die. Thank you, Billy Talent. Next, we flip the tape over, and on the other side of the tape, we open up with Pantera's cover of Hole in the Sky. Now, not as cool of an opening as the Black Sabbath with the this one says quietly in the background, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, oh, you just, I'll be honest, man, if the day ever comes where I go skydiving, this is what I'm loading up into the music as I jump, counting it out, going out of that plane. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just jumping into the abyss, man. Oh, as much as, you might want to think Motley Crue's Kickstart My Heart. Hell no, man. Hole in the Sky, for sure. This song is just brilliant. Definitely like my top five Black Sabbath and honestly Pantera songs. How do you follow up Hole in the Sky? Well, there's only one way to follow that up, man. Van Halen's Running with the Devil. Hell yeah, man. All right, so the bass line on this song is why I love this song, man. Just that simple boom, 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 boom. And then the guitar just squealing. And then it's still just on the bass, man. And Michael Anthony is all he's got to do, man. Boom, 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 boom. Brilliant. And the lyrics, man. I mean, I am definitely, when it comes to Van Halen, I am definitely a Hagar. I'm a Van Hagar fan, not a Van Roth fan. But David Lee Roth, man, on this first album, he was magnificent. The original album this came off of, Van Halen's self-titled debut album, is by far, to this day, still Van Halen's greatest album, I think. Their crowning achievement ever. If you're one of my regular viewers, you would have just heard what I'm about to say about this song before. We are talking about Jimi Hendrix, Voodoo Child, Slight Return. This is Jimi Hendrix dropping his boot down and saying, I am the biggest, baddest motherfucker on this planet. You ain't gonna do shit about it. If you notice, like every song on this album is basically a drop the boot down, biggest, baddest motherfucker on the planet kind of music, man. But this one, man, this is like primo, man. Like the only other song on this album, which I've actually mentioned before, that is the same type of drop the boot level of this is Hole in the Sky. But this is just Jimi Hendrix coming out there and saying, I am a god, you must worship me because yeah. Sorry, so now, after all this boot stomping, dropping, we got to have something a little fun in here. So this is where we put in Led Zeppelin's Trampled Underfoot. I love this tune, man. Absolutely, totally dig on this tune, man. To me, this is one of Zeppelin's top 5 songs as well. And it's one of those ones that's both overlooked and underlooked at the same time. Underlooked. Yeah. But this song's just got great vibe to it, great rhythm to it, great beat to it, danceability, man. Like you this is a total get your groove on kind of song, man. On this mix, it's meant to help bust it all up. take it into a slightly different direction after, cleanse some of the angry out, but keep the rhythm and the pace going high and high electric vibes. Now that we've gotten through that warm, fluffy phase, it's time to get badass again. Now, if you go through and you pay attention to a lot of songs on here, you'll notice that the drumming in a lot of these songs, while being pretty much, for the most part, 4/4 the whole way through, definitely has some cool vibes and grooves going into it. This next song, man, I fell in love with the second I heard it for the first time because of the drum riff in it. And we are talking about Metallica's Now That You're Dead off of Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Okay, so first off, Metallica got ballsy, released a double disc album after the whole thing with Load. I give them much kudos for that. I went one step further. I got the 3-disc version. But Now That We're Dead is just off the single disc. That's all you need is Now That You're Dead, man. The drums. The drum. Now going from the kick-ass, wild drumming that I love about Now That We're Dead, and it's not really that kick-ass and wild, it's just cool. We go into Metallica again, but this time, Kill 'Em All. And this is off the digitally remastered version of Kill 'Em All. And we are talking about Seek and Destroy, the pinnacle of Metallica tune, man. Now, you're going from standard, like I said, you're going from kick-ass drumming into some more standardized kind of drumming, just a little more but we're talking Seek and Destroy, man. There's a reason why this song opened up some kind of monster. This song has been around since day one, and I don't blame him because I would still play this song every night if I could, if I were them. This is just such a great song. I've tried to talk so many bands into playing this one, and for some reason, no one ever wants to do it, and I don't know why, considering it is a huge hit. I think everybody was just scared to do it, really. That's what my theory was. It is what it is. Nazareth, Hair of the Dog. Heartbreaker, Soul Shaker. I've been told about you. Now you're messing with a son of a bitch, man. I love the drums on this one, man. I have jammed out the drums on this one a few times. I've actually accidentally played this song live once ever. Me and my buddy Matt were jamming out, and I was just kind of going on the drums, and there was cowbell there. It was born, we're playing on a buddy's drums, and he had cowbell, so I just kind of for fun started doing the off the cowbell and whatnot. And my buddy realizes what's going on. He just kind of my buddy Matt kicks in the guitar riff for it, and then all of a sudden I started singing. We ended up going through the whole song. It just flowed, man. It was just absolutely out there. It was great. The only downside was we didn't have anybody recording it, and it didn't have a bassist going on it to make it just that much a little better. And Matt didn't get to drop down a wild guitar solo either. Priestess, Run Home. I love this song. I am so pissed. I got to see Priestess once live ever, and they didn't play this song. It was like the only song off this album. There was like 3 songs off this album they didn't play. This was one of the 3. I was so bummed out they didn't play it. I was hoping they would. It is a fantastic song. I love making fun of this song, though, because I always hear the lyrics different in the chorus from what they actually are. I always hear, it always sounds to me like they're saying, run home, asshole, run home, asshole. Great tune, though. Another Canadian tune, another Canadian band. Shame that they fizzled out the way that they did, because they came firing out of the gates beautifully. When I put this together, I figured I gotta put something brand new in there. And when I say brand new, I mean like 2023 brand new. So I put on Dancing in the Dark, which I just covered as well on Beyond the Black's self-titled album, Beyond the Black. This is a really good song. Now this one is slightly slower paced, but more warm, vibrant, great, uplifting. It's not much of a slower pace. Just like, seriously, we're talking maybe 10 beats down on the tempo, maybe. More quarter notes, less eighth notes. That kind of idea. But this song is just fantastic. It shows that there is really good music still out there. Great band, still making great stuff you want to hear. And I am very, very happy that I got into this band. So at least go check out this song, find out why this band is so cool. If you're one of my regular viewers, you also know I am very particular about how you finish an album. So, you got to finish a mixtape perfectly. So when you get to the end, you know you're at the end and you want to go for another trip. My choice to finish this was Iron Butterfly's Iron Butterfly theme. Instrumental piece, but it is just brilliant, man. It's just like this behemoth of a monster, man. Like this giant kaiju coming up out of the ground, man. Like Mothra. Big Iron Butterfly. Just, so magnificent and fantastic. As much as I love In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, man, Iron Butterfly theme is my go-to for Iron Butterfly songs. 1, the length. 2, it is a spectacular instrumental piece. You gotta check it out.